Welcome back to Zodiac Talks Tarot, the place where astrology puts on reading glasses, psychology pours the coffee, and common sense politely reminds us to believe in miracles but still check the balance before we swipe. I'm your longtime researcher, equal parts stargazer and skeptic, a patient interlocutor of Jupiter's timing and a student of how freedom, like airfare, always has fees fine printed in human behavior, and today we are diving into a topic with a provocative headline and a practical backbone. I'm shocked unexpected money will appear out of nowhere this week, not because the cosmos is a slot machine, but because you, Sagittarius, have been quietly calibrating to abundance long before your bank app noticed. Consider this your welcome mat and your thesis statement in one breath. For my Sagittarius travelers, philosophers, and occasionally unintentional stand-up comics, there's been a hum in your chest at inconvenient hours, a low signal that says more is on the way. That's not restlessness, that's alignment, the moment when your inner compass catches up to the map the sky has been sketching for months, and the universe, helpful but rarely tidy, has been shuffling your life like a cosmic game of Tetris, sliding opportunities into view, nudging certain players off stage, and loosening screws in structures that looked sturdy but never truly fit. You may call that chaos, I call it choreography, because in the year of triumph 2025 the chosen ones aren't waiting for miracles to arrive, they're realizing they already are the mechanism by which miracles occur. What I see for you now is a precise conversation between your second house, the place where money, security, and self-worth shake hands, and your ninth house, the cathedral of your convictions, curiosity, and appetite for far horizons. Translated from astrology to everyday psychology, your beliefs about freedom and value have been renegotiating the contract, replacing the subconscious clause that said wealth means compromise with a wiser line that reads resourced people do brave things, and when a Sagittarian belief shifts, life moves quickly to match it. Think of this as the Buddhist lesson of right intention meeting right action. You've been practicing non-attachment to scarcity, loosening your grip on the story that struggle proves virtue, and that quiet inner work done while you were answering emails, taking walks, and trying not to argue with fate has cleared the channel through which opportunity travels. Money in this season doesn't appear as a bribe to keep you small, it arrives as fuel for the meaningful risks you're built to take. If you want a practical cue, watch for an email you almost skip, a call you nearly decline, or a conversation that begins with "I know this is out of the blue." The out of nowhere part isn't superstition, it's how we describe results that have been accruing in the background while our conscious mind was busy doing errands. Humor me, too, in keeping your feet on the ground. Good fortune loves a tidy workspace and a clear yes, so clean a corner of your desk and decide, in advance, what you'll say when generosity knocks. Receiving is a skill, not a moral failure, and no, accepting help does not revoke your independence any more than buying gas cancels the road trip. From an old scholar's vantage, I'll put it this way. When the ninth house teaches the second house to expand, you earn in ways that don't betray your ethics, and when you pair that with gentle discipline, think gratitude before strategy, then strategy, the universe becomes less a vending machine and more a partner. So breathe deep, smile at the timing, and let this week demonstrate what happens when a Sagittarius stops chasing permission and starts allowing provision. The Ace of Pentacles opens this story like a glimmer in the soil, a quiet symbol of a new beginning that carries both promise and proof. For Sagittarius, it is not the lazy kind of blessing that falls from the sky wrapped in glitter and divine guarantees, it is the sacred moment when your purpose and your paycheck finally shake hands. This card says, you are allowed to prosper without selling your soul. That is the new economy of your spirit. The ace rarely comes alone, and beside it stands the Eight of Cups, the pilgrim of the tarot, the figure who turns from the known toward the mountain that whispers his true name. You know that mountain. It is the one you keep seeing in the corner of your imagination when you're pretending to be content. In this card, walking away is not a failure, it is an act of faith. Perhaps you left a job that dulled your humor, a relationship that demanded your silence, or the old self-concept that confused endurance with freedom. When you stepped away, you didn't abandon stability, you invested in authenticity. You made what I like to call a spiritual down payment, a first installment on your next miracle. The universe, as usual, keeps receipts. Now let's discuss how this energy is translating into your material life, because Sagittarius, the world is responding. Abundance is approaching, not in a lottery ticket way, but through what I call 3 streams of prosperity, each with its own personality and purpose. The first current is what I'd name the return. This is the money that forgot to say goodbye. It might be an overdue payment, a refund, an inheritance, or a forgotten commission that suddenly resurfaces like a message in a bottle. When it arrives, don't roll your eyes and call it coincidence. It's cosmic bookkeeping. The universe has a ledger too, and it's finally balancing your column. The second current is the opportunity, and this one requires alertness more than ambition. Someone sees you clearly, your wit, your vision, your rare mix of intellect and mischief, and they offer you something that feels both new and inevitable. A collaboration, a teaching role, an artistic or entrepreneurial doorway that matches your nature so perfectly that you might first mistake it for luck. It isn't luck. It's alignment, and it will find you faster if you stop chasing everything else. The third current is the gift. This one is tender. It might come through a mentor, a friend, or a near stranger who feels called, for reasons they can't explain, to help you. They will offer assistance without strings, not because they pity you, but because they recognize the sacred economy of reciprocity. Here's where your lesson lies, you, Sagittarius, who so often insist on carrying your own luggage through life, must now practice the art of receiving. Generosity is not a one-way act. When you refuse to let others give, you deny them their moment of grace. Let the universe love you back, it's been waiting for the chance. Then comes the Tower, the card that terrifies novices but thrills scholars. Everyone thinks it predicts ruin. In truth, it heralds renovation. Imagine a building inspector from heaven walking into your life and saying, "This foundation can't hold the expansion you've asked for." You can argue, or you can hand over the sledgehammer. Something, a job, a belief, a familiar routine will crumble, and when it does, your first instinct will be panic. Don't. This is demolition for progress. The universe is not repossessing your fortune, it's removing load-bearing lies. A door closes not because you failed to knock, but because the corridor beyond has been under construction for you. The loss you feel is the echo of an old structure falling away, the clearing of a riverbed that's been dammed by fear. So when the ground shakes, smile a little. Humor, after all, is the philosopher's shield. You are not losing security, you are making space for evolution. The Tower's lightning bolt is just divine efficiency, clearing in seconds what you would have spent years negotiating. From a psychological lens, this is the moment when your nervous system updates its operating manual. You stop surviving through control and start thriving through trust. From a Buddhist view, it is impermanence acting as mercy, the truth that everything built on false certainty must fall so that freedom can breathe. You are stepping into a phase where destruction and creation are the same motion. The Ace, the Cups, the currents of prosperity, and the Tower all belong to one continuous pattern, liberation disguised as change. So, Sagittarius, take this week not as an omen but as an invitation. You are learning to measure wealth not by accumulation but by resonance, to see endings as openings, and to let generosity, in all its unexpected forms, rewrite the story of your worth. The real transformation happening for Sagittarius right now has less to do with the number in your account and more to do with the frequency in your mind. Most people talk about money as though it's a visitor that arrives when you work hard enough or pray with the right tone, but you're not just attracting it, you're renegotiating your relationship with it. Money for Sagittarius is not a symbol of survival, it's a permission slip for movement, the fuel for freedom. You don't dream of vaults and ledgers, you dream of oceans and wide highways, of the ability to say yes without flinching. Yet somewhere in your upbringing, perhaps absorbed through cultural osmosis, you inherited the belief that wealth and spirituality were suspicious roommates. If you had money, you were lucky, and if you sought it, you were materialistic. That old equation, poverty equals purity, was never true, but it has lingered in the collective subconscious like a superstition we forgot to outgrow. The truth is simpler and kinder: abundance is not moral, it's natural. This is where 2025 comes in, a year that astrologers like to call the year of triumph, though it might better be understood as the year of permission. You are being invited to replace guilt with gratitude, to see prosperity not as proof of greed but as a reflection of flow. Your new mantra should be this: the freer I am, the more I can give. Freedom, for Sagittarius, has always been the highest form of generosity. Every time you allow yourself to receive, whether it's a compliment, an opportunity, or a well-deserved paycheck, you aren't being selfish, you're obeying the cosmic law of circulation. Energy, like air or laughter, has to move to stay alive. Hoarding it kills it. That's why the universe sends reminders disguised as bills: keep things moving, my friend. In Buddhist teaching, this is called dana, the sacred exchange of giving and receiving. It's not about charity or pride, it's about remembering that everything in this reality breathes in pairs. You inhale gratitude, you exhale contribution. You earn, you share. You rest, you rise. Abundance is not a competition, it's a current. You, Sagittarius, were born to surf it, and if you fall off the wave occasionally, that's fine. Jupiter rules your chart, not your balance sheet. Then we come to the Wheel of Fortune, that great reminder that the universe has a sense of timing and, occasionally, a sense of humor. For months, perhaps years, you've been spinning your wheels, working, studying, giving, and wondering why the results feel one step behind the effort. It wasn't punishment, it was calibration. Life was aligning its gears so that when the wheel turned, it wouldn't grind. And now, the click has happened. The karmic machinery is in motion again. A shift in fate begins, and this time, you don't have to earn it, you simply have to receive it. The chosen ones, those who have done their inner work, who've learned to let go of martyrdom, are now in a phase where divine timing takes the wheel. So this week, stop forcing outcomes. Don't chase, don't scramble. Just listen. The signals of opportunity are subtle, like wind through tall grass. Maybe it's an email that accidentally lands in your spam folder, check it. Maybe it's a casual line from a friend that suddenly rearranges your thinking. Maybe it's a random invitation that, in hindsight, becomes the hinge moment of your year. Synchronicity, that mystical word we use when coincidence starts making too much sense, isn't luck, it's the universe's handwriting. And lately, the universe has developed impeccable penmanship. Now, enter the King of Pentacles, the mentor archetype, the stabilizer, the grown-up energy that walks in and says, enough drifting, it's time to build. This king doesn't rule with flash, he rules with quiet competence. In real life, this may be a boss, a benefactor, or a seasoned ally who recognizes something rare in you, a quality of integrity that can't be bought but deserves to be rewarded. They might open a door that's been sealed for years, offer resources, or connect you with someone who changes your trajectory. The universe often works through people, and when the King of Pentacles appears, it's a sign that someone else's abundance has been designated to amplify yours. Accept their hand. You're not meant to solo every journey. Then we find the Three of Pentacles, the collaboration card, the one that whispers, stop hoarding your genius in a notebook. Sagittarius independence is legendary, but expansion rarely happens in isolation. Somewhere in your orbit, someone's looking for exactly what you've been quietly creating: a story, a design, a project, a philosophy. The idea you've been calling a hobby could be the seed of your next success. The piece of writing or art you've been too shy to share might be your calling card to a new world. Collaboration for Sagittarius isn't compromise, it's alchemy. When your fire meets someone else's structure, miracles happen. From a social psychology perspective, this is what we call complementarity, pairing your vision with another's discipline to create something neither of you could have done alone. It's not about surrendering your freedom, it's about multiplying it. And here's where humor saves the day. You'll know this energy has arrived when you start laughing at how complicated you used to make it. The job offer that lands perfectly. The partnership that clicks without drama. The check that shows up right when you stop refreshing the app. That's what alignment looks like. The mind calls it magic because it can't stand not being in charge. But the deeper truth, the one the philosophers and the monks agree on, is simpler: when you stop resisting the flow stops resisting you. So, Sagittarius, in this new season, don't chase fortune, befriend it. Wealth is not a test you must pass, it's a teacher reminding you how to participate. Let the wheel spin, let the king guide, let your tribe gather. The universe is composing the symphony, your only task now is to stay in rhythm and remember to enjoy the music. The Empress arrives like the soft breath before spring, carrying that quiet but unmistakable authority that says, "You've done enough. Now let it bloom." She is the archetype of divine creation, the mother of all effortless abundance, and her presence in your reading is a cosmic exhale. For months, maybe years, you've been forcing growth, watering, pruning, pushing the soil of your own destiny as though the universe were a lazy gardener. The Empress doesn't force anything. She understands that what is nurtured in sincerity never needs to be chased. Every time you chose authenticity over fear, every time you spoke your truth when it would have been easier to stay silent, you were planting seeds in invisible ground. And now, beneath your awareness, those roots have thickened, reached water, and are finally breaking the surface. You'll begin to see evidence of this soon. A project that was once a passion may suddenly become profitable. An email or message may arrive from someone eager to pay for your creativity, your insight, your craft. Or maybe the abundance will appear more subtly, your intuition sharper than usual, your timing suspiciously perfect, the right opportunities falling into place with almost comical precision. The Empress is that gentle laugh from the heavens that says, "See? It was never about the hustle. It was about the harvest." She also teaches an uncomfortable truth for the modern world: ease is not laziness, it's maturity. It's what happens when wisdom finally replaces panic. You no longer need to chase because your energy has become magnetic. The more you embody calm certainty, the faster good things gravitate toward you. This is not about manifesting in the trendy sense, it's about resonance, the natural law that what vibrates in peace attracts the same. So when you catch yourself overcomplicating the next step, stop and do something radical. Take a walk, watch the trees move, let the wind do the talking. Sometimes the universe delivers its best downloads when you're not refreshing your inbox. That moment of stillness isn't wasted time, it's alignment in action. The most successful Sagittarians in history weren't those who never paused, they were the ones who knew when to pause. Then, just as you begin to settle into this rhythm, the devil shows up, but upside down. In tarot, that reversal is liberation, the jailbreak of the soul. Whatever form of bondage you've been carrying, debt, addiction, obligation, or that invisible contract that says, "I must suffer to be worthy," it's dissolving. You are walking out of a karmic cage with your head high, not as a victim escaping, but as a student graduating. This is the moment when the universe hands back the key and says, "You were never really locked in." The reversed devil reminds us that wealth isn't measured in possessions but in permission, the ability to say no without guilt, to rest without fear, to breathe without apology. There's a particular kind of joy that comes when you check your bank account and your body doesn't tighten. That's not arrogance, that's nervous system regulation. That's alignment. It means your outer reality has finally caught up with your inner work. You are no longer chasing money, you are relating to it like an equal. In psychological terms, this is the end of codependency with scarcity. You've stopped seeing the universe as an unreliable partner and started trusting it as an ally. And just when you begin to enjoy that freedom, the Two of Cups glides into the reading like a well-timed reminder that independence and interdependence are not opposites. The card of partnership, of mirrored energy, it signals that someone romantic, creative, or professional is about to say the words you didn't know you were waiting for, let's do this together. For some, this will be love, the kind that doesn't demand you shrink to fit its container. For others, it will be collaboration, the joining of two talents that magnify rather than dilute each other. Either way, the lesson is the same, you don't have to do this alone anymore. The myth of the self-sufficient hero is charming, but it's outdated. Even the great explorers needed maps drawn by someone else. True independence, Sagittarius, is not isolation, it's the freedom to choose your allies wisely. When you build alongside others, your fire doesn't dim, it multiplies. The right partnership doesn't chain you, it liberates you from the illusion that you were ever supposed to carry the world by yourself. Finally, the sun bursts through the reading, and the tone shifts from introspection to triumph. After months of fog, the light returns. The sun is not just success, it's clarity, vitality, confidence, the full body yes of the cosmos. This is your breakthrough moment, the one where things that used to feel abstract become tangible. A deposit clears, a message arrives, an idea lands with perfect timing. For once, the signs don't need decoding. You'll see it, you'll feel it, and you'll know, the season of uncertainty has ended. But here's the philosophical trick: when that happens, resist the urge to sigh finally. The word carries the faint accusation that the universe was late. It wasn't. You just weren't ready until now. Every delay was gestation. Every setback was scaffolding. Every not yet was the universe tuning the instrument before the concert began. The sun's message is simple: life was never withholding joy from you, it was waiting until you could hold it without fear of dropping it. So, Sagittarius, as this light settles around you, remember that abundance is not an event but a state of being. You've earned the right to ease, the right to partnership, the right to wake up without dread. The Empress taught you to receive, the Devil reversed freed you to breathe, the Two of Cups reminded you to connect, and the sun blesses it all with illumination. Together, they form the grand arc of your story this season: effort, release, communion, and joy. You are no longer the archer chasing targets in the dark, you are the horizon itself, radiant and whole. And if you need a closing mantra, let it be this: thank you, not as a conclusion, but as a continuation. Because gratitude, like the sun, doesn't end the day, it guarantees another dawn. Preparation, Sagittarius, is not punishment, it's participation. The universe is not asking you to hustle harder or chant louder, it's asking you to make room. This week, your task is beautifully simple: create space. Clear the desk where inspiration keeps tripping over receipts. Empty your inbox, not because unread messages are evil, but because mental clutter is the most expensive kind of rent. Open the windows, let the light in, and throw out the things that whisper, someday. You've outgrown someday. The universe loves a vacuum, it rushes to fill what's empty. When you clear the excess, you don't lose comfort, you invite precision. You're showing the cosmos that you're ready for new data. Then, take out a piece of paper, or the Notes app on your phone if you're allergic to stationery, and write this down: I am ready to embrace my boundless abundance. I trust the universe, I trust my timing, and I use my freedom to uplift others. Read it aloud every morning. Don't do it like a self-help robot. Say it the way you'd tell a friend something you finally believe. Every time you repeat it, you're not begging fate to notice you, you're calibrating your energy to match the version of yourself who already lives in abundance. This is not manifestation, it's alignment through consistency, the same way a musician tunes before playing, not because the notes changed, but because the air did. And now, let's go deeper, the way philosophers and monks prefer to travel quietly, but all the way down. In Buddhist philosophy, wealth isn't measured in accumulation but in flow. It's like water through open hands, the tighter you grip, the quicker it slips away. The more trust you place in the rhythm of giving and receiving, the fuller your stream becomes. So when money or opportunity, or praise arrives this week, don't panic, don't hoard, and for heaven's sake, don't feel guilty. Let it circulate. Give a little. Share something beautiful. Pay a debt of gratitude, even if it's just a thank you note that's been waiting too long to be written. Use your abundance to create, to move, to live. The paradox of prosperity is that the moment you stop chasing it, it starts chasing you. When your energy stops smelling like desperation, life leans closer. That's not mysticism, that's human psychology. People and the universe are drawn to those who radiate sufficiency rather than scarcity. This is the cosmic secret hidden in plain sight. The richest people are not the ones with the most, they're the ones who've stopped rehearsing for collapse. Of course, because you're Sagittarius, we have to keep it honest. Miracles are real, yes, but they don't cancel your electric bill. Jupiter might be your patron planet, but your landlord doesn't take cosmic points. So think of this week as a divine internship in prosperity. You're learning how to receive without wobbling, how to hold expansion without spilling it. The spiritual and the practical have never been enemies, they just need translation. Budgeting isn't anti-mystical, it's a form of self-respect. You can meditate all you want, but if your car insurance lapses, enlightenment won't tow you home. So balance your ledger and your energy in the same breath. Laugh while you do it. You're not meant to wrestle with money like it's a dragon, you're meant to dance with it like an unpredictable but charming partner. It's okay to miss a step as long as you keep the rhythm. And now, for the final act, the grand convergence where everything clicks into focus. Sagittarius, the universe has been preparing you for this moment longer than you realize. Every detour that frustrated you, every delay that humbled you, every night you stared at the ceiling asking, when will things finally shift? Those weren't rejections, they were rehearsals. You were being refined, not refused. And now, in the year of triumph 2025, the script flips. You're no longer the wanderer searching for proof that stability exists. You're becoming its living embodiment, the rare fusion of freedom and abundance, the chosen one who finally understands that wealth and spiritual integrity were never opposites. They were lovers separated by misunderstanding, waiting for you to reintroduce them. When the message arrives, when the payment clears, when the door swings open after years of knocking, pause. Take a breath and smile. Don't say finally. Say thank you. Because finally implies that the universe was late. It wasn't. You just hadn't reached the part of the story where you could hold the gift without questioning it. This is not luck, Sagittarius. This is your soul cashing the check it's been writing for lifetimes. Every challenge you've overcome was a deposit of courage, every act of kindness a line of credit in cosmic currency. What's arriving now is not payment for suffering, it's interest on wisdom. So when it comes, meet it with dignity and humor. Maybe raise a glass, preferably something that sparkles, and whisper to yourself, I was always meant for this. Then do what Sagittarius does best, share it. Tell your story. Inspire someone else who's still mid-journey and wondering if their mountain has a summit. Because it does. It always does. And if this message resonated with you, don't just keep it as a pleasant thought, act on it. Support this space, not for vanity, but because every time you like, share, or subscribe to Zodiac Talks Tarot, you help expand a collective field of belief, a global web of optimism that feeds everyone who dares to hope again. Drop your affirmation in the comments. My expansive vision is manifesting now. Say it once for yourself, once for your future, and once for the Sagittarian somewhere out there still waiting for their miracle. Because that miracle, my friend, is already on its way home. And when it arrives, remember, life isn't asking you to understand it. It's asking you to enjoy it. So take the call, cash the check, dance with the chaos, and for once, let the story be easy. The universe, it seems, has finally learned your sense of humor.